Let's go ahead and now take a look at some other uses of the motion keyframes and how we can use those specifically here to change position. At this point, after the conclusion of a previous video, you should have some motion that looks something like this. Each of these are zooming in. And that one's not done. Let's do a quick review of establishing that motion and then some things we can do to actually adjust that keyframe to delete it or to reinsert it. So in the previous video we went in, I'll zoom in a little bit here. Once again, that's Shift Home to get to that first keyframe of this image. Effects controls, and you dropped this triangle right here. I better make that a little bigger for you there so you can see that. And we click motion and then toggle that animation on. And there's our diamond. And we're starting at 100%. And then we'll go to the end of that image, back, left arrow back one, insert another keyframe, and notice here you see the words add remove keyframe. So let's say we put that keyframe in and you can barely see it right there, and we'll go ahead and increase this by 10%, and we're going to zoom in like that. But let's say for some reason we either change the length of this image, at which point we'd have to readjust the keyframes, or for some reason we don't want a keyframe. These little arrows here help you move to a previous keyframe. So if we want to go to the last keyframe or the next keyframe, we click that and it takes you exactly to that location, which would allow you to do that adjustment. Now notice that as you move through here, you can see your scale changing because we started at 100 and it moves to 110, and so along that path is the zoom. So you do need to be able to get exactly to the location of where your keyframe is, and that's what these arrows allow you to do. So that gets us to that keyframe, and if we wanted to get rid of that keyframe, we just simply click and it disappears. If we want to go to the first keyframe, notice it's still highlighted for us, and we can go to it and we can get rid of it and start over. Add a keyframe, get our scale. Maybe we want to start our scale a little closer to begin with. I'm going to start there at 110 and then go to the last keyframe and set this one at 120. So I want to start in a little bit closer, like that. And so that's another way to use those keyframes. So let's now go take a look at how we can use motion in both the XY position and in changing the scale. And if you would, navigate over to this picture right here, and I'm going to make some adjustments. I had a few mistakes that I made earlier there. There we are at the beginning. So if you don't have this particular image, petroglyph point, go ahead and take a break and get that image inserted into your movie, and of course be sure to ask for help if you need some help doing that. Now, what we want to do here, and the reason why this one is different, is because if we just zoom in like we've been doing, it will just kind of zoom in to the center of this post here, and some of this sign that is kind of important will get left behind and kind of tend to move off the screen. And so we'll lose some of the effect of the motion that we want to include. So here's how we're going to do it. Just like we've been doing, you start off the same way, Shift Home, get to that first frame of the image, and then we need to toggle the animation for both the scale and the position. Because what we want to do, go ahead and toggle that one. That looked a little weird because I already had it done previously. But anyway, so that's what you do, is toggle and just make sure those diamonds are popping up right there. And the reason why we're going to use this position is because, take a look at the picture, we want petroglyph point to actually, as we zoom in, we also want to be moving to the right side. So it puts a visual emphasis on this information here. So we'll go ahead and start at 100. This 362.40 is fine. We're going to leave that. But now we want to go to the end. So that's a shift end and then that left arrow to return. And then insert a keyframe for scale. Insert a keyframe for position. And you can barely see those there. There's the scale keyframe, position keyframe. And now we want to make our adjustments. So we're going to go ahead and move in. And I'm going to go ahead and move this in a little bit more this time. Maybe 117. We'll try that. And then we're also going to move this to the right. So I'm actually moving it to the left, but when it zooms, it'll actually go to the right of our screen. You want to make sure you don't go too far. Go too far, you'll see you go off the screen. You got that black there, and you don't want that to show up in the movie. So you got to be a little careful with that. So I'm going to try that and kind of bring that towards the center, and then test it, and then you'll see. So it's actually zooming in and to the right at the same time. Gives a real nice effect. Let's play that at regular speed and see how it looks. That's real nice. That's what you want to do right there. So give that a try. Let's give that a quick review. I'm going to come in here and remove those keyframes and do it again real quickly for you. So get rid of those. Go to the previous keyframe. Get rid of that. And that one. And there we go. And so we're back at our starting position. Okay, so make sure you are located at the first keyframe. The animation is already turned on, so we can come up here, add a keyframe for scale, add the keyframe for position, go to the end, the last keyframe, using my left arrow to get there, insert another keyframe, and then increase my scale to the desired location, and then also position my picture to where I want it to end up as it zooms in, about right there. And that's it. And then just preview it, see how it looks. It feels pretty good. So there you go. There's another way to add some motion. You might want to try that with some of the other pictures, especially the signs is where that can be useful, where you want to put attention to specific parts of an image. Give it a try, and I will see you in the next video.